What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Relationship Cheat Code, where we give you the game, helping you to stress less and experience your absolute best in your relationship. This right here is my beautiful, my delectable, my gorgeous, my spectacular, sensational, incredible, edible, my lovable wife, Yana, y'all.
Yes, and this is my husband. This is my sweetheart, my pookie pie, my baby, my protector, and my homie, my ride or die. Ayize. What's going on, babe?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling encouraged, enthused, and energized. Just finished a massive undertaking.
Yes, you did.
Leaped head first into a self-improvement process and dealt with all of the strain, the struggle, and the stress, and the uncertainty about what it was going to look like, but made it through. 30 days strong, made it through. And I wasn't by myself, y'all. Carried a group of other brothers through the process as well. We was in the trenches, putting in that work. And shout out to all of the fellas that joined me on that journey to improve our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial well-being. We got it.
Goodness.
Yeah, we definitely got it in. So I'm excited about all that.
That's sexy right there. I just want you to know, let me speak for all the wives who sat and watched y'all and, endured a little bit sometimes. But
you was in your feelings sometimes.
I was like, we're supposed to be watching this together. We're supposed to be spending some time. He was like over there meditating and highlighting in the book. I'm like, let me let my husband be. But it's sexy. It's sexy to see you lead, to see you grow, to see you move, and to see you evolve. Like, I've seen you evolve in these last 30 days. It's amazing. It's not like this isn't something that I know, but it's kind of like when you were in church. Sometimes it hit different. You know what I'm saying? You hear the same thing over and over again, but one day that won't only do it, just hit a different way. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that this time, watching you. For a minute, y'all was getting up at, so for those who participated in the King Me 30-day intensive, y'all was getting up at 8:00 a.m. on the East Coast. But over here on the West Side, my husband was stirring at 4:30 a.m. every morning. And I couldn't help it. I'd be up, I'd be watching him, he'd be getting ready, whatever. Then I'd be like, well, I guess let me do myself some work. After a while, I figured out how to stay asleep. You know that.
You adjusted.
About halfway in, I figured out how to stay asleep while you were getting up and getting out, and you would go outside in the backyard and connecting with the fellas. But I saw you like struggle through that. Like that was hard. That was rough. You're not used to doing that. And then seeing you go through the process to the degree that you are now in a place where you like, this is low key my norm. Like I want to continue to do this, and y'all are going to be continuing with the King Me community. So I think it's lovely. I think it's wonderful. I think it's amazing and awesome.
Thank you, baby.
Anything that we ever talk about, let me just go ahead and do the plug right now on this podcast, any of our programs, our coaching services, all of that. If you have questions, you can always schedule a consultation, a complimentary consultation, 15 minutes to talk to either of us to learn more about that. So the link is always in the caption. So you're feeling energized, encouraged, and enthused.
Yeah. How about you?
I am feeling, I'm feeling the same way, and only because for me, I ain't done no 30 days. For the last 11 days, I have been walking and getting up, and my walks have been walks with God, and it's been good. I've been
putting in that work.
I've been really enjoying my time. But look, this is what I was going to say, y'all. So let's transfer this to the relationship space too. So you started out, you were ready to lean in. You heard God calling you to do something, to grow yourself, to grow the men around you, and you move forward. And yet, you can say it better than me, but I saw your struggle early on with like doing some of the things, some of the simple things. I say simple because it's not complicated, but it requires a certain level of commitment, like getting up early, like making sure you're doing your reading, like in the midst of life and all the responsibilities you have, still making sure that, you're sending, I mean, you were leading the process for the men, right? So you're sending out their accountability groups, but even for the men who were in this, like, there's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of ways you have to hold yourself accountable. But half the time, y'all, maybe more than half the time, it's really just about getting started. So let that be the first gem that we drop today on this show. It's just about getting started, because once you got started and you got your rhythm,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You was flowing. You know what I mean? It's just what you do.
Yeah.
And so even for me, just a mere 11 days in of walking again, I've been up and down, on and off of my walking, y'all. It's just about getting started. It's like a crossroads moment that we meet every day.
Every day.
Is I'm gonna do it, or is I'm not? And that's the same thing that we can really apply to our relationships. Is I'm gonna go over here and initiate sex with this Negro, or is I'm not? You know what I'm saying? Is I'm gonna apologize, or is I ain't? You know what I mean? Like, there are all these decisions that we have, and we can actually make a decision that feels counterintuitive to us. Feels like I don't want to do that. My body ain't ready for it right now.
Yeah.
How many times has sex needed to happen in your relationship and your body didn't feel ready? You was tired. You worked all day long. It was up early in the morning. Some of y'all like, oh, you're not used to getting up at 4 o'clock. I get up at 3 o'clock every day. Some of y'all out there like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be about that life. And yet when it's time to get it on in the evening, your spouse is kind of giving you some cues or doing a little something. You ain't getting no energy back because you're tired. But if you just press through, if you just slide a little closer, if you just open your legs, if you just lean in, by the time you finish the session, you're like, won't he do it? I should have, could have. I should have been doing this before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just using that. I'm using that particular, thing as an example, but could it be for anything? To apologize, to spend more time to say, hey, I scheduled a date night. We don't want to. We don't feel like it. He should do it. She should. But if we just take the step, just get started, it gets easier.
It definitely does. I mean, I was about to go in the direction.
I know you. Where was you about to go? Because I saw your face. I'm just using that as an example.
Okay. All right. Because one thing that I have noticed is that over the course of these past 11 days, my wife, she been on one, y'all. I do think
been on one
in a positive way.
Mean?
In a positive way. With the walking, I don't know, with the increased blood flow, it's been on and popping. And she been initiating some stuff,
flow.
y'all. I'm just saying, like, I mean, she been like really initiating some things.
I don't know what you're talking. I don't feel like it's.
Nah, it's different.
It's
different. It's definitely different. And I'm lifting that piece up. The reason why I was looking that way, I was looking when my wife was talking, is because she actually tried to come and get some, but I was knocked out. And I thought that I actually asked her, was you trying to do something last night? Actually, I'm not going to use.
Don't say that word. Yeah. Yes.
But I said, were you doing something to me last night? And she was like, yeah.
I was trying.
I thought I was dreaming.
Did you really? You really did not know?
I didn't. I had to ask myself, like, was that real? But in any event, it was. And again, the benefits, y'all, of getting out here, getting that work, getting that blood flowing, and increasing your heart rate. Yo, I'm definitely seeing a direct benefit to what you're doing. So not just because it's benefiting me, but because I see how
that I want it more. Is that what you're saying?
That
I want to have sex more.
Yeah.
I'm still not really sure if that's the case.
Like, it's not debatable. It's really not. It's not debatable.
It ain't like I'm tracking myself, but if you say
I'm tracking.
And I mean, but you are tracking.
Yeah, I'm paying attention, and it's definitely different. And so shout out to you. But aside from shouting out you for how it's benefiting me, shout out to you for doing it. I mean, like you said, just getting started is one thing.
I'm just a little 11 days, y'all.
And your main, don't discount that. That's big. That's huge.
Keep praying for me.
And I commend you, baby, because like what you're doing is it's impressive.
Oh, thanks,
you weren't doing it before. You was actively resisting.
I was. I stay actively resisting.
You know what I'm saying?
Not no more.
But then guess what my wife said, y'all? She said, I will do what you tell me to do. if it would help me lose 10 pounds.
Yeah, I was getting a little too fluffy over here. I was like, Lord have mercy, what's going on?
I was like, whatever you tell. I actually recorded it, y'all. I recorded it, and so that if my wife give me any lip, I'm just gonna play what you said. Yeah, so you can check yourself. All right, y'all. We got a question that we want to touch on really quickly. This one right here is a doozy. It's a doozy, and and it may be some people's situation, but this person wrote in really inquiring about whether or not we could help based off of their circumstances and their situation. So this is what it is, y'all. The topic: should I let my husband's daughter and ex-wife move in? Hey, what's up, y'all? So we know you're enjoying the episode, but check this out, y'all. We're not just any old random couple that's coming on YouTube every week just giving relationship suggestions and stuff like that. We're way more than that, y'all. Mm-hmm. We're trained therapists and relationship coaches. Yeah. This right here is my beautiful, incredible, sensational wife, Yana.
And this right here is my dapper, debonair husband, Ayize. So y'all, we just want you to know that there is more. We don't want you to just be a spectator. We want you to get in here with us and join our community. We have all kind of folks who are doing their personal work, their relationship work. We have sister circles and men's lounges and trainings, and we address all kinds of things from infidelity to disconnection to communication issues and sex and intimacy issues. Look, the solution is at blandcore.com.
Join us. Let me just sit that right there.
Just sit that on the table.
Should I let my husband's daughter and ex-wife move in? Some of y'all done say hell no already.
You ain't heard the question.
All right.
Listen to the whole question. And y'all, it's helpful to share your thoughts as you hear it, because people want to know. They're looking for feedback.
Yeah, so we summed up this question. But this wife is between a rock and a hard place as her husband's biological daughter and mother of his child find themselves in a difficult time in their lives and in need of support. Should she welcome them into her home and extend herself to her husband's daughter, an ex-wife, or is this a recipe for disaster? That's basically the essence of what she's asking. Like, they're going through some hard times. She lifted up the possibility of getting evicted. And she also lifted up some additional financial challenges in terms of losing a job, et cetera, et cetera. And so she gave specifics around that. And so she's having a rough time, y'all. She's having a rough time regarding just experiencing some level of stability right now in her life. And of course, their daughter is in the mix. And so she's wondering, like, should I allow my husband's ex-wife and their daughter move in with me, move in with us? And why are you making that face like that?
I'm just listening. I'm listening.
And so when I hear that question, and when I take into consideration all of the different variables, a few things pop out at me. The first thing is, it speaks volumes that you're even contemplating or considering this possibility. A lot of people deal with,
for sure,
extended family dynamics, and I don't know what the relationship piece is between you and your husband's ex-wife. I don't know whether or not y'all have a close-knit relationship, if it's like a Will and Jada and ex-wife type situation. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so it could be like that. And if it is like that, that may be one of the reasons in which you're even lifting up this question.
The fact that you used Will and Jada as an example.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay.
But peep this though. So even with that being said, you want to take into consideration the fact that by doing something like this, I get that you care for your stepdaughter, but do you got to care that much for his ex-wife? Do you? I mean, do you, even though you may be a more inclusive type of woman, mm-hmm. and you wrap your arms around everybody.
And maybe that's their dynamic, like you said.
But do you got to wrap your arms around her? She a grown ass woman. And again, it's not as though she don't have capacity. At least I'm assuming, even though she's experienced difficult times. We all go through difficult stuff, but for you to be in a situation in which you're contemplating this, and I don't even know whether or not she asked that question. There's a possibility that could have been done. And if so, like, that woman got some audacity to ask.
That's how you feel?
I do. She got
That's
some more
a
that.
woman though. I'm surprised that
Really,
as a
bro?
man, you're not like. I mean, she out here. I mean, I'm assuming that this person must be in like dire straits. Like she must be getting put out or something like that. You know what I mean? Something really rough. Or I'm not saying that's reason to say come on in. I'm just saying you coming like Iana.
No, I'm just saying, like the ex-wife has the audacity.
Mm-hmm.
And real talk, like I don't want you to be no dummy in this situation. I really don't. I don't want you to get got. Because what type of conversation, if she did ask that question, what type of conversation did she have with your husband, your man, not even with you first to inquire about that possibility? What type of relationship or continued relationship do they have where there's that level of comfort? Again, I understand you wanting to look out for the daughter, but to have to look out for her, where's the rest of her family? Like
Right.
that right there to me is asinine, and I do think that it is a recipe for disaster. And so I would say, hell to the nah, nah, nah. Like
It's just that easy.
it is. It is. I wouldn't welcome
Wow.
that. Even if she had a separate quarters on the property where she could stay in her own little space. Nah.
Oh yeah, it don't really change a whole lot,
Yeah.
do it?
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. And so those are my thoughts about that situation. And real talk, like, so if you think about it from the child's perspective, there's this place where she might actually feel welcoming of the idea. And she may look forward to that type of engagement, that type of experience, having
Who
all
might look
three of
forward
them,
to it?
the child,
Oh yeah, of course. And that's a
because it
lot of
becomes
times
a
what
more,
people are thinking about. They're thinking about the well-being of the child, and so what's going to happen to her mom, and where is she going to be, and it's not just about what we have to do to support this child concretely, financially, to cover this child, but emotionally, like what does this mean? Where will the mom have to go? Like the daughter may be really not maybe will be really impacted by that. So a lot of times people are thinking about those things.
yeah. So and then what's the husband thinking?
Oof.
What so even if he comes to you and proposes this idea, what is his thought process? And real talk, why I'm saying that, why how does she even have the audacity? How does he even have the audacity to part his lips and bring this question to you?
Wow.
I would feel extremely uncomfortable.
I am just like really surprised at how like bottom line you being with this.
No, I would feel uncomfortable. I
Because you're
would.
saying like how they even have the audacity, but people be in crazy little situations. Um, I mean, yeah, I hadn't even tell you my thoughts yet, but I'm just surprised that you're not. You usually are. You're thinking about all of everybody's experience and all of the situation and everybody's situation, but you're pretty clear here that that's just you. It's almost like you're saying it's out of pocket for him or for her to even ask.
Yeah, I think so.
You do.
Yeah, there's other solutions out here.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways in which they can be supported. Now, some of y'all may say that that was my exact situation and it worked out fine. I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't have the time to be looking over my shoulder, having question marks. And you might even say that it's a lack of trust, but I don't trust her. I don't trust the other person that's outside of what we got going on in our household. It's not that I don't trust you, but I'm also aware too that temptation be lurking. There's stuff that be like sitting around the corners that are waiting for the opportunity for you to be weak. I know at times I'm not going to be at the house 24/7, and certain conversations might be had. I'm also aware of the fact too that y'all was together intimately, and so there's familiarity there, and it doesn't mean that y'all are still doing that, but I wouldn't sleep easy at night. I just wouldn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with my husband wholeheartedly, 100%. And, I'm not going to address all the same things that he did because everything he said, I agree with. Like, where they do that at? I know there's somebody watching who's like right here in my house right now. You know what I'm saying? So I know that this is like, people's reality, but there's some things I want you to consider. So I'm going to give you some thoughts to take away from this. The fact that you asked the question, that you brought it forward, right, means that you're considering it. And I'm not going to make it a right or wrong thing that you even consider it, but it does. I want to say it does tell me something about you, and it gives me a sense of um, it gives me a sense of, and I don't know this to be 100% fact because I don't know you like that, and you didn't give us a whole lot of details in terms of, what had happened. You know what I'm saying? Why she need to be with y'all? You know what I mean? Like, if you said something like she just, she's in the middle of her. I mean, I'm making up this, right? She's in the middle of a cancer diagnosis, is going to be treated all the time, and she's getting, put out, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and she doesn't. I mean, there are all kinds of things. I just want to make
Susan
room
Taylor type situation.
for the fact that there are all kinds of things that people be dealing with. What are you talking about, Susan Taylor?
Actually, it wouldn't be applicable to Susan Taylor because
Susan Taylor?
They were still married. Susan Taylor and her husband.
You talking about B. Smith?
I'm talking about.
You didn't talk about Susan Taylor is the former
Yeah,
editor of Essence magazine.
Yeah, my bad. B. Smith. Yeah, B. Smith situation. But it's different though because
Well, she was, oh Lord, y'all remember that B. Smith situation?
Yeah.
But people had different thoughts about that. She, she had Alzheimer's, and as she progressed fully into the disease, he brought in a new boo in the house. Something about that still don't sit right with me. I can understand, but not for real. Really, but not really. Yeah. But
this is different though.
But this is different. This is different. So I'm just saying that there are all kinds of really extenuating circumstances, not regular, not like, girl, you better get up and, you know what I'm saying, go do this or go do that. I had to tell a family member one time, who has, their house has been open for many a people. And we love those people just in our families. We love those people in our lives because they are open hearts. They are people who, that they cover so many of us when we are in need and when we would have no place else to go. So this family member has been that to me and to you. This family member has been, covering us back in the day when we came to live with them.
Yeah.
And we had little teeny children and we was having a hard time financially, and we came on home. You know what I mean? Like we were in that situation with this family member. This family member has done that for lots of people. And at one point in time, they were doing that again with yet another person. And this person was lovely, but they didn't really have any plan for how they was going to be moving forward and moving on and moving out and what have you. And, I said to them, they can't go to the shelter. To even say that, I know some of y'all are like, damn, like you would tell them to leave. And this is somebody who you are friends with or is a family member, whatever. You would say, go to the shelter. Now, there are some people I would never say that to based on who they are. This person was, a family friend, so to speak. But I raise that up because there are other options for people. There are extenuating circumstances, but I want to say to the person who wrote this in, the fact that you wrote in says to me you're considering it. Again, I don't know all the circumstances, but sometimes people such as yourself find themselves in places where their lack of boundaries continue to come forward over and over and over again. I'm not saying that this is a situation where you don't have good boundaries, but I don't know. I would not be surprised if this was an area that you had to work on, that your yeses tend to flow much more easily than your no's. Because, most people will be like, let's look at all the other things. Like, I don't understand, like, why she got to come here. Even with the cancer diagnosis. Even if you're getting put out. Because I'm going to do, as a woman, for many women, and especially women of faith, what I feel God would have me to do to be a good person. But that doesn't mean that I have to move in my husband's potentially dying, maybe, or just in the middle of a real struggle, fighting cancer, because they've been put out. There's got to be another way. And so I'm saying that there are other ways. It is oftentimes our discomfort with lifting up some of these difficult alternatives and difficult conversations that really messes us up. Because if you don't have the difficult conversation, even if they're going to come on up in the house, because I'm not telling you you're wrong, I'm just not telling you you're right. And I'm telling you that I would advise against it 99.99999% of the time.
Why?
99.99999% of the time.
Why? Is it for all of the reasons that I shared? Because I'm starting to backpedal a little bit.
Why You backpedaling
I actually put myself.
because I said the extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, I actually put myself in.
So my exes got cancer, and we don't made a whole narrative, y'all. We don't even know nothing about the situation, and they got put out. And I said I want them to move in here. Somehow you just like, oh wow, I really feel like maybe we need to do this. You become more, empathetic to the situation.
I mean, ultimately, so it's easy for me to look at it as if you were in that shoe. So if you were the wife.
No, I'm saying somebody. I want to bring somebody. I want to bring somebody in here. My ex.
It's hard for me to look at it like that.
Oh yeah.
I think that ultimately I would arrive at no. But here's the piece that I think is really important to lift up. So we're saying extenuating circumstances, right? And so it may be that. But one thing that we aren't considering is that even though she's my ex, I may still love her.
We not considering that?
Yeah, we're not considering that.
As though I feel like I especially for people who've been in long-term relationships with that person, that's even messier.
I mean, I get it. It is even messier, but so if she's experiencing extenuating circumstances, and I, as your husband, I love my daughter, of course, and you love our daughter as well, and I love her as a woman, but I'm not in love with her, but I'm deeply entrenched and in love and married to you. I don't want her to go through no hardship. I don't want her to hurt.
But that ain't your responsibility.
I don't want her to be suffering when I know I could do something about it. And you're still my primary responsibility and who I think about first. And so when I said before, how does he even have the audacity? He may have the audacity because he loves. And I may not be trying to do nothing with her, but I don't want her to hurt. And then how does that impact my relationship with my daughter when she knows that we have the capacity and we have the means to help, but we choose to turn our back?
Yeah. Very real kind of situation to be dealing with. And it's still okay to turn. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you're not necessarily, I don't think that, you know what I mean? It's not that you're turning your back, you're turning towards what the priority is. And so we have to have our priorities in order. And so for many of you out there who are listening, especially men, who are like, yeah, I mean, like, that's the kind of man I am. I'm not going to let, this is my child's mother. Y'all say stuff like that. This is my baby's mama. And I'm not going to just treat her like she's anybody when she's going through. I understand that. But that's not your first priority. And so the first priority is to make sure that your household is in order, that the connection between yourself and your wife is in order, right? So sis who wrote in, what I'm saying to you is, it is okay for you to be uncomfortable. It's okay for you to say, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, and I'm not okay with that. It's okay for us to have non-negotiables, even in the midst of a chaotic crisis situation where people who are attached to us, exes, extended family, and otherwise, are severely impacted. It's okay for us to still have standards. It's okay for us to still have non-negotiables. I do think, it is important for us to demonstrate the kind of love and, energetically show up for people the way in which we will want other people to show up for us, just in general. You know what I mean? Just being a person who is, just trying to do right. But it doesn't mean that now this becomes something that's our responsibility or that we are somehow indebted. And I think sometimes when people are in situations like this, so if your husband, for example, is talking to you about this and sharing much of what, like you have said, like, wow, like this is somebody who, like, this is, let's give the child a name. This is Sydney's mom. You know what I mean? Like, Sydney is struggling every day because she knows her mom is going through such and such. And here we are, and we have the means and the capacity. Like, I'm having a hard time with that, babe. Like, and he's on the up and up. He ain't even got no romantic feelings. He's just on the up and up. Like, I don't want us to be like, well, then y'all need to collaborate perhaps and come together and figure out how you can be of support within certain parameters. But who sets up the parameters? Let me be clear to everybody. Let's translate this and transfer this rather to our relationships in general. When there are things going on like this, how is it that you figure out how you should move First of all, nobody moves alone. Let that be point number one. Nobody moves alone. He doesn't move alone and say, this is what's going to happen. I bet not come home and she in the house just visiting because y'all wanted to talk about it. And I have no clue about it. I know from being a therapist and a coach for many years, people do stuff like that. Pop up conversations, pop up visits. Well, I didn't really know. Well, you know, whatever. She coming and reaching out to me, but you've not never said anything to me about it. And you fully are aware of the situation, but you as my husband hasn't said anything to me. So I'm going down a tangent. I just want to put that out there though. First and foremost, nobody moves alone. So we have to have a collective, a collective. We have to have a conversation, the two of us. And then from there, we have to find out, what is your threshold, boo? So I am the one bringing up something. It could be something like this or anything that is disconcerting, that is disrupting, and that is uncomfortable and potentially undermining to the relationship, even if that's not the intention. So sweetheart, what is your threshold? What do you feel is doable? And I just want every woman, man, anybody listening, when you get presented that question, I don't care how considerate your partner is. That's good. They're supposed to be. Do not answer out of codependence. Do not answer out of people-pleasing tendencies. Do not answer out of, God want me to do this and I want to be right with God, because God also wants you to make sure you first and foremost take care of your own situation. You cannot pour into other people if you're not pouring in to yourself. So make sure you answer it from a solid place, a right place. And once you give those parameters, now, even in the funkiest of situations, that brother, your husband, needs to figure out, along with you, what can we do to be helpful and supportive within the parameters that my wife has set. And some of y'all have a problem with that. Some of y'all just hear me say that my wife has set. We're more open to hearing the parameters that my husband has set. That aligns more with, he's the head of the household and he is the leader. But let me be clear. No good and healthy, successful relationship happens where you all actually advance and move forward without good partnership. Without good partnership and without two people who are part of a team who take each other into consideration and who understand that first the team must decide how we're moving, and then from there we message that out to the rest of the world. And you guys to set the parameters. And of course, a good wife sets parameters in consideration of her husband. A good husband sets parameters in consideration of his wife. Like you're taking into account their feelings, but you are not replacing your feelings with their feelings. That would be called codependence. I highly resonate and identify with what my husband is going through so much, and because he's such a good man, and he wants to be there, and he's always been that way, and I don't have any suspicion that he's doing anything off of it. It's just the kind of person he is, and I want to support him in that. You're gonna feel that for all of about a couple hours, and then when the real deal hits, and they're in your house, and you got to live day to day, you come downstairs because you want to make some scrambled eggs, and when you go in the kitchen, not only do you see scrambled eggs, you see waffles and bacon and juice that she made the way she know he like it, because she remember that. And you ain't never made it. You ain't never made the juice. She fresh pressed the juice in your kitchen. And all of that identifying, you'll be like, whew, Jesus, something is off here. You understand? So we got to make sure that we center ourselves in our own thoughts, and that we have some distinguishing between our own thoughts and our own feelings, separate and apart from our spouse, while we consider the whole of the situation. Baby, because I'm just telling you, you're only gonna be in that space for a little bit. And after a while, it's gonna get rough and tough. That's for real.
You made that thing plain, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that imagery that you gave was, yeah.
And not only do you come down and say, and she got the scrambled eggs and everything made, you somebody maybe say, oh, that's good, she making it. No, you ain't gonna like that after a while. Your husband looking over at her like, oh, okay. But she got on the robe. It's a little bit too much cleavage showing. Don't do it to yourself. Please.
There you have it.
Please. Don't do it to yourself. It's not a good look. So the themes that have come out of our conversation today, y'all, with this question, right, is boundaries. Make sure you have them. What's that old commercial about milk?
Milk does your body good.
Boundaries does your relationship good. You got to have them. You got to have them. So you might want to review. Anybody in a similar situation, right, where you're being asked to extend yourself and you're like, I'm not sure that it's wrong or that it's right. I just got to figure this thing out for me. Review your boundaries. What are they? Are y'all clear about them? Boundaries take care of you. They don't check anybody else. They take care of you. So boundaries come up. And then also making sure that in the midst of being a good person and doing the right thing, that you also are considering the whole of the situation, that you're looking at your partner, you're paying attention to what they're dealing with. A child, we always want to consider the impact of the child. Mm-hmm. But that, while you're doing that, you're also centering your own feelings and your own experience. Do not be people pleasing all up and down your relationship streets. Lord have mercy. I could go on and on about this one, but I think we are complete. I think we have
we are. We
sufficiently answered the question. You said you was backpedaling. Are you still moving back on that?
The eggs and the juice that got me. The fresh squeezed juice.
You come down the stairs and he outside. It's the afternoon. You about to watch a basketball game. Mm-hmm. You come downstairs like something smell kind of good, but you look out in the back and he on your grill. Mm. He like, yeah, we're gonna watch the game, but he grilling it up, making the food. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember you how you used to do that chicken like that barbecue chicken, just like I like it. That's good.
Nah.
Just like I like it.
Yeah.
Them words will be reverberating in your mind. Mm-hmm. You'll be like, this ninja got to go.
Immediately.
Immediately. I know he was having a hard time, but he well enough to make chicken
I know.
that I made. Ain't even chicken he purchased. Yeah. Chicken out of our refrigerator. Yeah. Wow. He got to go. We're just giving you a heads up. Mm-hmm. This is, we like to sometimes idealize what we think things can be, but we also need to be centered and grounded in what things more than likely will end up being. Yeah. And we also need to remember that wherever we are in our relationship, it's enough to work on the one that we got. Mm-hmm. It's enough to work on the household that we have and to center our own selves than to be taking in extra people.
That's facts. Thank y'all for watching another episode of the Relationship Cheat Code. Please like, subscribe, and share. Get the word out here, y'all. We want more people to see, hear, and just feel positive energy as it pertains to relationships. But also send in your questions too. Like, we love to hear them. Yeah. We love the feedback. We love the comments. Check out some more of our other Relationship Cheat Code videos, and let's keep growing. Let's keep building. Let's keep elevating and applying what we learn as we connect more, love more, and build more in love. All right, y'all. Peace.